what a game it is shaping up to be. First versus third, top side in Australia, top side in New Zealand. Do you feel as though there is that level of anticipation for this game within the team?
Yeah, I think it's building. Both teams have had a fair travel schedule over the last month, and for us, I guess it's acclimatising back to the time zone here. We've had a training run on Tuesday and a training run on Thursday, and that's it for the week. The boys finally started sleeping well last night. One more good sleep before the game, but there's certainly a build-up now towards the game.
And they're in a good mind frame, given what's going on elsewhere. You feel as though you have been able to, make sure that the focus is on football within the team?
Yeah, definitely. I guess we had a really good focus over in South Africa. There was obviously a bit of turbulence off the field, and we heard about it over in Africa, but the focus was really good over there, and it's been the same here. This is a long run of games for us, including trial games. We know we've got a bye next week, so we've really focused on putting everything into this game.
Ben, do you ever worry that it will creep into the rugby program, given when you get back you're effectively across the hall from everything that's going on?
No, very confident that the boys will be able to focus on their rugby.
Have you been able to though as well, or has it been tough that way for you, or have you just put it aside as well?
No, it's been very good. The rugby department have been left to focus on rugby, I think if you'd ask any of the players, the only thing they'd say is that they've got a game against the Chiefs this week.
Tim mentioned before that it's the top New Zealand team versus the top Australian team sort of thing. Is that what you hope people are thinking about when they come here tomorrow night, and that a good crowd does come, given it is such a big battle?
Yeah, I think we'd certainly love a big home crowd. We always get a boost from a big home crowd, and we know that ticket sales pick up late in the week, and expecting pretty good conditions on Saturday night, so expecting a few people to turn up on the night. But that certainly helps us. It's the best New Zealand team versus the best Australian team, and they're renowned for throwing the ball around, so I'm sure it's going to be a very entertaining game.
Because sometimes when stuff like this happens, fans get forgotten in all of it because they're trying to support a team that's going really well at the moment, 4 from 5. Is that I guess you guys have a job to do in terms of entertaining them to give them something to be proud of, as Squeak said?
We've spoken about changing our game this year, so we had a big focus through the pre-season in trying to improve our attack. We felt our defence last year was the best it's ever been, and stats will show that. And this year, we've been disappointed with some tries that we've let in, but we've got a pretty good record defensively. We're still all about making sure our attack is better than it was last year. So I think that in itself will create a better atmosphere here for the fans. But for us, it's the fans so far this year have been amazing, particularly that Waratahs game. We had over 20,000 people, and it was one of the best atmospheres I've seen here at Canberra Stadium.
And you'd hope that the external stuff doesn't keep them away, sort of thing.
I think just like the players, the focus is on the game, and they come out here. It's not about anything that's happening behind the scenes. It's about watching a great game of rugby.
You mentioned the guys have had good sleeps last night. How'd you monitor that? Have you got some sleep tools that you're watching, or have you given them all a bedtime or something? Or?
We do data analysis in the morning, and the boys tell us whether they slept well or not. Yeah, it's pretty complicated.
Was there a moment over there, Steve, when it all went down, where you put the phone down and thought, what the hell is going on back there?
No. I think in all my discussions back here to Australia, everyone assured me that everything's under control and just to focus on the rugby. So it was, similar to this week, we've been left to focus on the rugby, which is obviously a massive part of the organisation.
On the rugby, where are the dangers for the Chiefs?
Across the park. They're the best New Zealand side for a reason. They've got great attacking skills across the park. Defensively, they've been shutting teams down. So they've been winning by big margins over the last couple of weeks, but they've also been holding the opposition to not too many. So it's like any opposition. If you're top of the log, you're good in all areas.
As Roger was saying when Squeak was up, that they scored 7 tries in the second half. I think Brett said 5 tries in the last 20 minutes. So
yep.
kind of don't let you off the hook at any point.
No, not at all, not at all. And I think that's the beauty of their game, that they have that ability to attack from anywhere on the field, and at any stage of the game. They have the ability to get the ball to space. So, yeah, for us, like I said, I think both sides have had a lot of travel over the last month. For us, it's about continually running through this game because we know that they're going to pose a threat from the first minute to the 80th minute.
Does it help that you have a bye next week and the fact that the guys can go all out knowing that they've got, you know, that extra week recovery?
Yeah, there's a lot of sore bodies. I mean, Africa's a tough trip on its own in terms of the jet lag, but then you come up against some big bodies over there, and both games were really physical. You know, the Storms in particular, we lost a couple of players that week, and then the Cheetahs were contesting everything, particularly at the breakdown. So it was a really physical game, and there's a lot of sore bodies at the moment. So yeah, I think the bye is very timely.
You've managed to keep that same starting 15 though. Is that a good thing for you guys coming out of South Africa?
Yeah, it's a huge positive for us. I guess on the back of having a couple of turbulent weeks where we've lost a couple of guys through training through the week and out of the games, it's good that we can put the same team on the paddock 2 weeks in a row, particularly with the shortened week coming back from Africa.
Everything's being so contested against the Cheetahs, as you said. Is it a good lead-in for the Chiefs, where you are going to have to try and slow them down? You're going to have to try and contest everything?
Yeah, I think that's our game. That's the beauty of our game, is that we're pretty good with set piece, but everything for us is a contest. I think that's what's brought us success over the years, and it's going to be no different this weekend. We certainly want to contest everything at the breakdown, at the set piece, every time a ball is kicked, every time a ball is dropped on the ground. There's a good competitive edge in this team at the moment. And yeah, like I said, the Chiefs are on top of the table for good reason.
And that's the key, to try and keep it structured rather than giving them too much loose, unstructured ball?
No, not necessarily. It's just about being on top of our game. So I think we've had a pretty good defensive record. We know that these guys are very dangerous. They've got a lot of offloads in their game, a lot of pops off the deck, and they keep the ball alive really well. So yeah, there'll be a lot of running for us, but you know, the game will pan out how it pans out.
You've got a couple of young locks. You've got a Wallaby with Karts and Rory as well up
Yep.
against them. Is that an area you think maybe you can kind of take a bit of an advantage?
Well, not necessarily. Again, you know, you just have to see how the game pans out. If there's a lot of set piece, if there's a lot of line out particularly, I guess that's an area where that contest will be apparent. But otherwise, around the paddock, it's 15 on 15.